everybody. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Well, it seems like it's been a while since I streamed, but because I couldn't on Friday, so I guess that's the reason. But we're going to continue with loading assets today. I think, as far as I know, there's no problems with this code. It gets all the way through loading a script and our let's see, the testing hex asset. Yeah, right here. Finish loading with success and no error. And so once it does that, it goes on to the organize assets, which will be pretty simple at this point. Let's see. I was gonna look at the warnings, but they've all disappeared. Oh well. Okay, so I cleared out. We used to have more objects here, but I've cleared them out for now just because we don't really know exactly what we'll need yet. Let's close all but this. And basically the idea behind this asset organization phase is that we'll take everything here in the loaded, where is it? Loaded assets, which this kind of has everything unorganized, and then we put it all into this game database so that the game can actually read it. And that happens here in the asset organizer. It looks like I've already done some. And this phase should be pretty simple, so I don't know why it would take more than one frame, although we do support multiple frames just in case, but this could probably even be done in a separate thread, but there's not really that much logic that's going to go into it. Okay, so right now, yeah, the table of contents has this test model. So I guess what we'll do here is we'll just have public int test model. Yeah, this should be an integer. And let's do this game data. Let's go ahead and make it a constructor, why not? Here, pretty much. Okay, so when we organize, we'll need to have a dictionary here that will give us the model name to its index number, and then we'll need a script here. Void. Let's just say add model. And it will return the index for this model. But basically how it would work is here we would say database dot test model equals loaded framework, loaded value. Okay, let's make this a little simpler. Yeah, I think actually I did do it so it's just a loaded assets and not a subscribable object, so did I? Let's see. Find all references. Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't throwing an error before, to be honest. So now this is fine. So loaded assets. Okay, so actually it goes test model, loaded assets, framework, test model. I guess that's all. We don't have to actually send the model because we would get that in this. So int index equals, oh, it doesn't matter, we don't have to set it up yet. So if model map try get value out. Oh no, it's not out there. Index. So if this is false, that means we need to add the model to the model map. So the model is simply loaded assets name okay, so it says these are object, so as game object, and that should give us the right thing. And then, yeah, if model is null here, then we have an error, so throw new mod loading exception. Okay, expected, oh, that's not how you spell expected. Expected model in asset let's it's bad grammar and put it outside just so it's obvious what it is. Received. Let's put the type there. I forgot the string format, didn't I? Okay, so name and then okay, so we don't actually have the type because it would be null there, so let's say object model. And also it couldn't even not be in here. Actually no, if that was the case, then probably we'd get an error. Let's do this. So asset equals null. Otherwise we do type of asset. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. It's asset get type. It's toString. There we go. And one more parenthesis. Okay, so that's not how we do it. So I guess loaded assets try get value. So we went through an error. Okay, so here if the model is null, then we throw this exception. Otherwise, index equals database models count, and then we add it to this. Oh, yeah, so of course, this doesn't need to be a dictionary, this can just be a list. dictionary. Well, they do have some differences, but lists will be perfect for us. Okay, so yeah, then we just need to return the index. And see, so if, we also do need to set model map name equals index. So now, if we've already registered this model in the list, we will just get the index out of our map. And then we store the index in here, and the game will look up the models that way. Okay, so I guess let's see if this works. Okay, yeah, so it got to the organized assets and we didn't have any errors, so that means it did go through. The problem now is that nothing responds to this message yet. It's just the load flow manager. This, what did I call it? Organize? Yeah, organize complete. Oh, except can't just press enter. On assets, organize complete. Move that down here. Basically be the same. So if phase equals load assets, then organize assets. Okay, so at this point, we need to either do this complete ready check or skip. So let's see. Private server, sync requester. Game components get or register. This isn't the right, what is it? Server phase synchronizer. I missed the C. That's not what it's called either. Okay, yeah, so this is the class that initially synchronizes with the server. Okay, so I guess we don't really need to synchronize again, because if the server was in the loading phase at this point, then it wouldn't exit the loading phase without us, unless there was some error, in which case we wouldn't trust the server anyway. And then so I don't think there's any way the server can really get past us here. I was thinking we might need to have another like wait synchronized check here. I guess we might as well. I mean, it's not gonna cause any problems really. Oh, and here this is a global component. Also this, which means I need to use listener janitors. Thought I caught that. Let's add new so this one is just a simple listener. Okay, and then I need a couple more parentheses, I think. Table list. Add new listener janitor. Same thing here, just move this. And this is just so that when this scene is done, we'll automatically unsubscribe from these messages because otherwise they just stick around forever, and that can lead to some hard to find bugs. Okay, so what? Oh, except this is actually an iListener int, so there we go. So any other? There's just a normal component. But I do need to get this because the flow manager also needs it. So at this point, so if synchronizer okay, so we kind of want some way to tell if it's been synchronized. And what I was trying to do is kind of copy how I did the code in the play phase, but let's see. That's actually in this connection manager. It has some extra logic to tell if we're in sync or not. Okay, let's see. Alright, 1 second. I think someone's at the door. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so what I wanted to look at is not that. So basically, what happens when you get disconnected here? Does it even... yeah, it does. On connection change. Okay, so it changes sync state to unknown. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so yeah, here, if synchronizer state equals synchronized, okay, then we can see about this. Okay, so complete, ready check. So we'll have this, I'll do another final wait like we did for the play scenes. Okay, so in this case we change, oops. phase state to phase final wait. Alright, and then here if synchronizer synced main phase is loading, then we need to do the ready check. So I'm just seeing, is there any way because right now, yeah, I think I'll need to change this. Let's see. Because there's kind of like server loading subphases. There's loading and then the map generation. So I think I'll go ahead and take care of that. So let's see. Yeah, because there's the load assets. Yeah, the server even has separate loading phases, but that's not given. Maybe that's what we need to do. We just need to also handle these loading phases. Probably should. Let's see. Anyway, at this point, it would just go to loading phase. Yeah, none, because it'd be done, and then the server or the game would move on to the next phase. Okay, so I guess we don't really need to get the server synchronized at this part, because we don't actually need it until we get down here after everything's been loaded. Yes, that's kind of annoying. Here we get the synchronized state. But okay, do we actually, because I think all we do is just listen to this. Well, I guess we already have it, and then we won't have to ask again unless we get disconnected. So, I mean, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. We also, we need to have a loading timer here. Loading timeouts on the server and client. Should be a separate one on the client where the client will just disconnect if the server doesn't acknowledge it. Okay, yeah, we don't want that anymore. So what I need to do, networking, okay, we got the server phase message. We could just get the public server loading phase switch. So I think here, which I guess we should rename since it's going to be put out of the server specific namespace. Okay, what's this complaining about? Okay, this just needs to be public. Alright. So let's add something else here as well, just for debugging. I can type a curly brace. Alright, and now where does... Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I was looking for here. I don't even know if I have the loading phase as a state machine. Yeah, I don't, so it's not like that'll be that difficult to add. Equals server load phase. Okay. And then where was that? Loading ready checks. Oh, we do have the loading phase one, but I thought I just created a new one. Definition. Okay, so this is loading phase, not load phase. Surprised it didn't pop up for me. Alright, so now that's all taken care of. Okay, so then here, loading flow manager. Yeah, so if synchronizer is loading, and synchronizer synced. Okay, spell it. Synced load phase. Oh, I don't have this one yet, so let's add it. I can delete all these comments because that was for a previous way the code worked. And then add this here. I'm not sure if any other game phase will need to do this because the lobby phase is basically just one phase. Well, I guess you could have, I don't know, the choosing phase and then something like ready wait phase or something, I don't know, where you're waiting for everybody to click ready. But I don't think server necessarily has to do that. And the team building is the same, so I don't really think anything else will need an enumeration like this. But if so, it's not that difficult to add. Okay, so if so load phase equals message. And we'll do the same thing here if main phase does not equal loading. We'll just set load phase to 0. And in that case, so where's the, yeah, here it's just disappeared. So that means I don't need this first line actually. Sync load phase equals, oops, wrong key. Load assets. That means we're in sync with the server right now, so we need to do the completion ready check. Okay, but first let's take care of this final wait. And to do that, I'm going to copy something. Okay, so let's do it from the ordering phase manager because it's pretty standard. Okay, so it is connected. No, we can't actually do it like that. So really we just need to wait and listen for the synchronized message here. So I guess for that I can actually copy Server sync requester. Yes, so we won't need that. Okay, and I guess I'll move this down because I'm only going to need it for the final wait phase. So if phase state equals int loading phase final wait. Okay, so first we set that, and then we should call synchronizer. Synchronize. Okay, but we can't just do that right away because we actually have to wait until we're connected. I kind of want to make an extra class, like a loading version of this connection manager I could use for the loading phases. It'll be a lot simpler. I think I will do that, but I want to use it for both the loading and map generation. So I should put it outside, I guess. So load connection manager. Basically, I'm going to copy the connection manager from here. Oops. Yeah, we can reuse this connection phase actually. I wonder, I don't know, I can't really, I was gonna see if I could just use this same class. That would be ideal, but so much of stuff is tied to the place, you know, it wouldn't be that useful. Yeah, we have the... Oh, this even has like the auto reconnect and stuff. I really should... Well, no, because if we... Oh yeah. If you disconnect during the loading scene, you should just exit back into the lobby. So we don't even need to do this kind of thing. So that's why... Oh jeez. Okay, I need to think before making stuff more complicated for myself. Okay, so... yeah. So we don't need this, and the reason is because if we get disconnected, we're just going to exit. Alright. So we'll make another phase. So we don't have this. This will be error, and then time out. And say disconnected. I guess these can just all be an error, because either way you need to exit. Okay, so here, that's fine. And then load flow manager, I still need to know if we're synchronized or not here. But it's just if we ever get disconnected, like we wouldn't even get this far, so. Let's see. So let's see at this point. Connection phase. What's this used for? Okay, so we don't actually need to do this part either because, yeah, if we get disconnected, then we would just exit out of the scene. Okay, so yeah, we don't need that. Does this... It's not used for anything else either. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna copy and paste this just to save myself some time. Okay. And then here, just get rid of this part. Because again, if we get disconnected, the whole scene is just going to exit. Okay, so if connection phase, connection state does not equal int, what is it, my connection state, connected, then phase dot state equals int loading phase error. Okay, so yeah, that's basically all we have to do. We'll still have this separate sync load phase because it helps us know if we're actually synchronized or not. It might not be completely needed, but I mean it doesn't cause any harm. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and do the ready check. So this will just be the ready check. And I can kind of copy this again from the play scene. Although of course this one's a lot more complicated. Okay, so this is asset, or is it just loading? So, do we need this? Because again, if we're not connected, this won't do anything. We won't even get this far. So no. And we don't need really any of that. We just need this repeated helper. And then yeah, on a message to say that we got something back. And this is the asset loading controller. Where is it? Okay, what did I call that controller? Oh, I thought I didn't see that in the list. Right, and this will be loading components. Okay, do just ready check complete. Alright, and yeah, this is just a test. We can do this a little simpler. Okay, we do actually need the loading phase though, don't I? state machine phase. Okay, and so just calling this is in phase, we could just call phase state equals loading phase complete ready check. And yeah, we don't need this stuff because we're always just going to send the same phase, or the same ready check type, which is assets loaded. Okay, so if message type is assets loaded, then that means we got the ready check we were waiting for. Okay. So now let's just register for that event. Check complete on ready check complete. There'll be another small one like this. Okay, so if it's complete ready check, we just move right away to none, and then signals for the controller to move on. So let's see, where is that? This is wrong section. Okay, so let's do the new ready checker. Okay, I didn't even have the organizer here, I just noticed. So asset organizer. Right, I'm not missing it. Okay, I don't have to do that anymore. So instead we just listen for the phase change, so the components. Get or register state machine loading phase. Okay, it's just phase. Okay, and then we'll subscribe. Oh yeah, enter subscribe. Simple listener. Okay, so we can just call check complete. Oh, too many. So if phase equals int loading phase none, then we can move on. Okay, so let's see what happens. Might be an error because the map generation scene is not ready, but okay, so this is, again, probably a problem with the file being duplicated. Unity doesn't like it when I move stuff in. Visual Studio. So where is the other one? Server, loading phase. Delete this one. Okay, so component not registered. Let's see, where is that? Asset organizer 31. Okay. Okay, so game data is not created yet. Let's see, so I guess I can just create it at the beginning of the game. Probably a good idea. Okay, so let's see, components, add, or register. Do that. So int global components, game data. All right, that takes care of that. Reference not set to an instance. Oh, the model map, I didn't create it. I always forget to do things like that. Also, at the beginning I should probably... Oh no, it would have been... Well, okay, I was debating if I should clear the model list. Does that really do any harm? If there's already models in there, then that would maybe be a memory leak, but... Okay, so expected model and asset testing hex received null. Okay, and I think I know why. I needed to prepend the mod's name here. Okay, so let's make a helper function for that. So private string, let's get mod's name. I don't know. I guess I'll call it asset key. String. We'll do table of contents, and then the string asset. And all we have to do, I think, let's see, in the master or the mod loader manager, I should probably move this code out somewhere else, because I do a string format mod name and then colon asset path. But I guess it's simple enough. So table of contents, name, and then asset name. So get set key. I guess we could have also done that automatically in this add model, but yeah, let's name this to the key because it's not just the model's name anymore. I just realized I forgot to tweet when I went live. I guess I better do that in case there's some people that are waiting on that. Alright. So we're finishing up loading assets from mods. Gosh, I can't type. That's a running theme of this channel, it seems like. Alright, so just do a couple of tags here. Anyway, back to programming. Okay, so we got a null. But I think that's just because the key was wrong, so let's see if it works now. Okay, expected model and asset testing hex, and received a list. I was not expecting that. Okay, so that means something weird is going on in the master asset loader. So let's see, where does it add assets? Oh yeah, it's putting in, this is silly, it's putting in all a list of all its names. It should actually be the asset like that. Okay. And also I can change this type to big O object, because it's a Unity engine object. It's the only thing that we can load through the asset bundles. See, does that cause any problems? And here. Okay, well I did the same problem here, but I shouldn't even be adding this into the assets. Alright, it should be XML, so I'm glad I caught this. Turned on insert. Okay, so asset, what is... Okay, I guess I did not expose the loaded object. Okay, so it doesn't need to be set like that. Okay, so do I set the loaded object right here? Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I don't do that same silly error in the Lua loader. Okay, well no, because it doesn't even store its return value at any point. What about here? Okay, no, so I am correct and actually store the function and not some list of names. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's see what this warning is. Lobby parameters. Yeah, I don't know why we would need the lobby parameters. And the other one is... Okay, so it's saying it never calls the exception. Okay, this is asset organizer, so it might need the lobby parameters at some point. So let's keep that. And it does need this exception because we even throw this exception. I just forgot to wrap it in a try catch. Let's do it right here. Actually, no, we can't, because it will throw an error if the exception fires right at this point. Yes, this is actually, let's do this. So take helper, force inactive equals true, and that way we won't, this function won't be called until we set this to false, and which we'll do that here. So force inactive equals. Yeah, the loading phase does not equal, because during this phase we actually want this function to be called, and then we'll call toOrganize at this point. And we'll wrap it in a try catch. That way we won't have any problems if there's an error thrown. So what is it? Mod loading exception. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, we won't call this onComplete. So load exceptions, send. Alright, so that way it'll catch any mod loading exceptions without halting the game. I guess let's try this one more time. Okay, so now it went all the way through to the complete ready check. But that's not doing anything. Let's see why that is. Pretty sure I put the ready checker and the asset loading controller right here. Okay, so I know it's been created. So the repeat helper is active. Phase equals this. Okay, so that's okay. So why is it not calling this function? Okay, well, let's add a debug log here and see. Debug log. Okay, so active. Oops, I put that equal sign on the wrong side of the quotation mark. I guess a simpler way to do this would just be to copy that code and then move this down below. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't say active anywhere. And the loading phase does switch. So why is that? I'm expecting it to start sending stuff to the server. Okay, does this repeated message helper have some other kind of logic in it? Like, it doesn't wait until the server is connected or something. It doesn't look like it. Looks like everything's okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't subscribe to this phase change message. Yeah. This is a simple error, of course, like most things. Okay, so we can throw away the argument. Okay, so now all the magic should happen. Okay, which it does. But of course there are some errors which I expected. Okay, so let's move back up. Loading phase complete, ready check. So the client sends a message to the server sends a message back. Okay, these actives are a little out of order, but it's just the way the debug works. So the loading phase goes to none. Okay, then map generation starts. Why is this still being called? Yeah, so map gen started, but it seems like the asset loading manager is not cleaning itself up. Because this is just it's in the scene component, so it shouldn't be called anymore. Okay, what's the call stack for this? Game link, load flow manager. Okay, so the load flow manager does not unregister itself from game ticking, I guess. It should, though. I have this activatable list. Okay, so let's see. After I set this game controller, let's do like this. So debug log preset new, or yeah, preset map gen. And then post set map gen. I should also have override. No, I did that out of order. This is exit function. So debug log asset loading exit. And when this happens, everything should be unloaded here. And so this, maybe it's this assertion that's causing the problem. Actually, I think that is it. Oh, I didn't even know it was still playing. Yeah, because this assertion is happening, or this error is happening during the map generation controller initialization, which, yeah, that's it, because that causes this to never be set, and so the asset loading controller is still active. Alright. Okay, so it's no big deal. But I notice here there was some weird stuff happening. Because if phase is 0, then it tries to restart it. But it does wait 1 frame, so I don't think that would ever be a problem. Okay, so what do I need to do? I guess we're going to need to clear this out anyway, because I want to move it. I clean up this code and move it all into separate files. So I think I'll just basically turn everything into a comment here. Why do I want to do this actually? Because I do want to load into the game. and actually see if we can instantiate that model that we loaded. But just for the sake of getting this to run, I'll have it all get commented for now. Okay, good. So now we can see this active is not being called every frame anymore. Although I guess I should have left this uncommented so we could actually see that in the debug log. Alright, so let's stop this. I knew that was gonna happen. Okay, I don't want to get rid of this debug because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so I just want to see if we can create that model or instantiate it into the world before I do any more work on this. So let's do game data database equals game components get game data. And then we'll just say Unity engine game object instantiate database models database test model. Let's do that vector 111 and quaternion identity. Okay, so this should just create this cube in the world for us once everything's loaded, just to make sure it's all working okay. And it does. Sorry, it's not a cube, it creates a hexagon. Alright, cool. So now we know that's working. So we were able to load that model out of the asset bundle, which was given to us by a mod, so it's nice to see. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this class, we don't need it anymore. Alright, so now pretty much done with the main things here, but there are of course some small problems I want to do, mostly having to do with error handling. Okay, so where do I want to put this? Mod load. What was it? Loading flow manager. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so here on error. So whenever there's an error, we'll exit back to the lobby. And then we'll also unload everything. Okay, so unload all assets. So there's 3 different ways to switch. Loading phase, phase state. So if we're at yeah, so we'll have to be sure to call this before we set the state to error, but so if we're at the loading assets phase, we actually don't do anything. Also, server sync, because server sync nothing's been loaded yet. At the loading assets, the other controllers will take care of it. Maybe that's how I should do it. Instead of calling this, I can just have the other classes take care of it themselves. Let's see. Like this master asset loader watches for an error. Or does it? Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, yeah, it does listen for an error. So whenever there's an error, it just disposes everything, which I guess is fine. Okay, I think I am overcomplicating this. It's basically how it works. Yeah, it's here. If the phase state is organize assets, then we want to load well actually no, at any point we just will unload everything in the loaded assets, and then we'll have to be sure to reset the game database as well. So let's see. So this is when we actually get an exception. We should make another message. I guess if we enter the error phase, then everything would know. Just in case. Private message, clean all assets. Or not clean, we just want to dispose all assets. Game components, get or register. Oh, this is not game components, it's Steam component actually. So loading comps, dispose assets. Message, let's call that. Okay, so yeah, we'll just call this here dispose assets send. And then instead of the various asset loaders subscribing to the error itself, let's subscribe to that new message. Get register message and loading components. Okay, dispose assets. Subscribe. Okay, I should really just rename this, I think. Okay, so this, yeah, it clears, disposes the bundle loaders and the asset loaders, which stops them from loading anything if they're still active. And then if it's already loaded an asset, then it destroys that asset here. Okay, so why is that dispose that here? Okay, so the loading phase change. Okay, so let's pull this out and extract method cleanup. Okay, I think I see how it worked. Oh, I forgot to message create. Okay, so that gets rid of that. Alright, so the reason that it calls to dispose here, which is just when we exit the loading assets phase, is because when we exit the phase, all of these active loaders should be removed, and so it won't destroy any assets. Okay, so I actually don't need to change that, but I should add this subscription to the other asset loaders. And I guess I'll just look at them real quick to make sure they work the same. Calls dispose. Okay, so here it just cleans out these lists, doesn't even really do anything. Okay, add controller. Alright, so that's easy. Okay, so let's make another class which will just be an asset destroyer. Sounds pretty ominous. Okay, so public. And this takes the asset. Loading controller. Yeah, really we just need to register for this. Okay, let's change this, destroy, loaded. And what this will do is look through this final assets class and destroy everything in it. Private loaded assets. And let's just rename this as well. Okay, so loaded assets. So the main thing is we just need to destroy every game object in the assets dictionary. Game object and loaded assets. Assets value. Then we call it Unity engine. Destroy. Okay, so it's game object. Destroy. Okay, so what else is there in here? So XML objects and Lua functions we can just clear. The Lua environment we should destroy. Table of contents, we'll just close those out as well. Okay, so asset is clear. XML. Clear. Loaded objects. Lua functions clear. So the environment. Does this have? Yeah, it does have a dispose, and then it's null. And we'll clear the table of contents. Okay, so is that everything? And I guess this can also take care of the game database. So database. But really everything in the, like if there's already some stuff organized into the game database, it would also still be in these loaded assets. So controller components, get all register, game database. This is actually a global component, so global comps. So we can just kind of, now get our registered as goods. So we'll just clear out everything in here. Database, test model, and database. Might want to have like a database cleaner somewhere else because there are a couple other places that will have to clean the database, but this should be fine for now. Okay, and for now in the error phase, we just stay there forever, but we'll probably have some pop-up or something that comes up. Or actually, no, maybe you just be kicked back out. So let's see. Let's have complete. Okay, so this, I'll change this to complete. And then the asset loading controller, if it's complete. Otherwise, I guess we can use a switch here now. Oops. And then, if there's an error, then we want to exit back out. So I guess it kind of depends what kind of error. Because if it was a mod loading error, yeah, we'd want to go back to the lobby. But if we got disconnected or we got timed out from the server, then we would just disconnect and go back to the main screen. So I guess I should have one more. So I'll have to say disconnect. So load title. We don't actually have a title screen yet, so let's put null here. Lobby controller, which I think if this ever happened, it'd probably be an endless loop of us trying to load back and forth, but so I might want to take this out for now, but we'll see. Okay, so now we should probably just trigger an error and see what happens, but I'll load through and make sure the game works okay. Alright. So let's trigger an error. Alright, when we enter the organization phase, how about? Okay, I can't do it. Again, I can't do it right when the face changes because that will throw in an exception with our messengers, but I can do it right here. So throw new load exception. I'll just say test. Pretty sure what will happen is we'll exit back to the lobby and then it'll just start loading right away because that's how the lobby works right now, but it actually doesn't work right, which is fine because right now the lobby scene isn't equipped to take care of it because it's quite messy. But just to make things clear, okay, I'm entering lobby. Okay, we see entering lobby, but of course the lobby doesn't know what to do with us because the server is out of phase. Oh, that's actually one thing. We need to send our error to the server. Okay, so do I have the connection? Yeah, I do. So we'll still dispose all assets. And I guess we would right here as well. I guess I'll just extract this. So I don't have to, if I change the way this works, I don't have to call a different message there. Okay, so at this point, we should just try to send our error to the server. So if connection phase, connection state, so my connection state, connected, and if we're not connected then we just won't even care about this, because if we're not connected we'd want to disconnect anyway. State, there we go. Okay, so Unity link. Send client send message, and it's client error. New error message. I think this has a type which is loading. Nothing even cares about that right now. I don't know, does the server take care of loading errors yet? That's one thing I should look, because when the server receives an error it should send that to every other client, which I actually need to listen for those. Okay, so we did that part. I guess we've done that. So we need to server side error handling, send to all clients, and then client side listened for server errors, server error broadcast, and then just some. This is way down the road. We probably won't do that right now. Okay, so where was I here? I was looking into the errors. Yeah. So we send this to the server. Okay, so I gotta be careful here because if we receive an error from the server which triggers this function, we don't want to send another one right away. Okay, so I will actually comment this out. Okay, and this on error should probably, we should have another message here. So let's see. Error. So I guess either we encountered an error or we received one from the server. So I guess I can just call this on error. I'll just create another. And when we create that class, that'll actually send the errors to this server. That's where we'll take care of this type of thing. I guess I'll go ahead and create it so I won't forget. Alright, so error. Messenger. Okay, and all this will do really is listens for an error, and then it will send it to the server, and then it will also listen for errors from the server, and then it calls that on error message. But I'm out of time tonight, so we'll do that tomorrow. Alright, well I feel like we got quite a bit done today. Just got some odds and ends to finish here. Pretty soon we'll be able to get to the fun part, I hope, and I can start actually designing some of our little battlers, so that should be fun. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I do really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow at about 8 Eastern. And we'll continue from there. Alright, thanks again. Bye-bye.